On this episode,
Whoa!
the MythBusters indulge their sweet tooth.
Okay.
But will they be burned by an exploding jawbreaker? They show true grit,
I'm gonna go.
finding out if a sandblaster can really create a deadly static cannon.
Stop smudging my...
And it's the deal of a lifetime as they play a hand with the killer deck.
Hey, we drew blood.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
I kind of like it in here. It's private.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was intense.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Jawbreakers. They're colorful, they're delicious, and they're fun.
Are we doing an experiment here, or are we screwing around?
But what could turn this simple candy into a potential bomb?
The exploding jawbreaker. We know this happened. We just don't know why.
Yeah, we have the police reports and everything.
A treat for 5-year-old Cameron D. Hall turned into a scary moment after just one lick.
And it just blew. That fast. Boom.
And he had this jawbreaker in his hand, and he went down to lick it. When he did, it exploded.
The child heated the candy in the microwave.
There's another exploding jawbreaker story in Florida.
Story of 9-year-old Taquandra Digg was burned when her jawbuster exploded in 2003. Hot liquid burned her face.
It hurts. It hurts a bunch.
She went to lick it, and at that point, the jawbreaker exploded in her face, leaving really severe burns on her face and on her arm that were described later as chemical burns.
Jawbreakers start life as a solid candy center. Then they grow like a snowball as sugar syrup is applied layer after layer in a process that takes 5 days. This is the perfect MythBusters story. A hint of truth, sweet things to play with, and an excuse to do really stupid, dangerous experiments. Don't try this at home.
We have to come up with a heating and cooling regimen to determine which scenario, if any, would make these jawbreakers explode. And really the first place to start is to try and superheat it and see what happens to the insides.
And superheating means microwaves. It's obviously a bad idea to put a jawbreaker into your microwave at home, but the MythBusters are willing to do it for science.
Look at that.
God, look at that. There's a hole right in the side of it.
When you're dealing with superheated sugar,
Going hot.
you don't take any chances.
Nope, nothing explosive there.
To suck through a jawbreaker this size could take 5 days. So Jamie and Christine use a shortcut to see what's inside.
That's pretty. The first thing that I noticed when I cut this open is that there's a potential for a temperature differential.
Temperature differential means a layer inside the jawbreaker could heat more rapidly than the hard outer shell. The layer would then expand, creating internal pressure and instability. If somebody nibbled on a jawbreaker in this state, it could crack. The molten candy would burst out and cause painful burns.
With the slightest, messing with it, it would go off like a bomb.
The MythBusters don't really want a mouthful of boiling candy. So Adam comes up with a toothy solution for Tari to construct.
We have to build a fake mouth to chew on a gobstopper.
Okay.
We want it to be able to chew, which means the lower jaw will be the hinged part. The upper jaw will be fixed,
Okay.
like in the head.
If you're building an artificial mouth, the first thing you need is teeth. Let's hope Adam's granny doesn't miss those dentures too much. As Adam plays dentist, Tari constructs a steel frame to support the test jaws.
Anyone got any candy?
The average human has a maximum bite force of about 170 pounds. This guy's not average, but our artificial mouth has to be. So, how do we measure its bite force?
What I've done is I've hooked up this force gauge to this device, and this will give us an accurate reading of how much the jaw exerts.
The digital force gauge measures and displays the peak amount of force applied to it.
Hurts.
Time to test the artificial jaws. By pushing down on the flexible steel rod, Tori can apply tremendous force onto the dentures. Maybe too much.
What is that? Busted a
Tooth. Busted a tooth? Melted, and I heard it go over here somewhere.
You shouldn't eat hard candy.
This job calls for teeth of steel.
I'm about to cut some canine.
Varying diameter steel rods are cut into tooth-sized pieces. They're shaped on a grinder and welded onto a steel jaw. They might not get you a Hollywood contract, but these steel choppers will be able to replicate the bite pressure of a real mouth.
I finished the teeth. I hope they work.
Meanwhile, the microwave's getting a workout.
Now look at this. The one light green layer in the middle there started to bubble, and nothing else did. I'm going to put this piece back in there without the core in the middle of it and see whether it just kind of pools and nothing else happens.
Okay.
Christine uses an infrared thermometer to measure the temperature of the candy's molten inner core.
25 degrees.
Yeah, it went up to 225.
Well, you know, this is actually pretty interesting because it's clear that it is reacting in that layer a lot more than the surrounding areas. And that's where we get some kind of an explosion. Ow, really retains the heat. You could get seriously burned with this. In fact, I think I did.
So, heating a Jawbreaker in the microwave can create a dangerous molten sugar center. Now to apply pressure.
Want to get me a Jawbreaker to test?
Jamie loads up, Adam pushes down, and the steel teeth start chomping.
All right, that's a full bite. Nothing's going on.
They try again, but the Jawbreakers just won't crack. Maybe the boys are heating the candies too fast. What's the solution?
Defrost cycle. See if we can figure it out on this machine. Okay, so
you could do, I think it might be power level 1. Oh.
All they have to do is figure out how to program the microwave.
It's too smart.
0.1 pound. That's probably a good bet.
We don't have the manual for this anywhere.
Probably somewhere, but I think that's sort of what it does.
30 years special effects experience finally pays off.
There we go. Start.
That was crazy.
It's like watching paint dry.
Nope. After all that, the defrost setting doesn't do it either. They test combination after combination of heating, cooling, and pressure. Until, eureka, finally, they think they have it.
Going hot on the candy.
Okay.
A highly unstable Jawbreaker with a core of molten sugar is about to be crushed.
2. What?
Ice water over here.
I got it on my arm.
Christine's being hit in the face.
I got burned by the candy. I wasn't wearing a face mask like I should have been. And I couldn't protect myself with my hands.
At upwards of 225 degrees and with high heat retention, the liquid candy is extremely painful.
Okay, I've got first-hand experience though. Doesn't feel good. I got the side of my neck and my temple, so it hurts.
So, the MythBusters have conclusively proved that Jawbreaker plus microwave plus steel teeth equals scalded myth turn.
And if you were a 5-year-old kid and this went off in your face, there's no doubt it would leave serious burns on you. It was very, I mean, I could feel it like 10 seconds, 15 seconds later. It wasn't cooling down. It's like napalm. It's very dangerous.
For now, the MythBusters will lick their wounds. But they'll take a few more bites at this myth before they're finished. It's a myth to make your hair stand on end. You think you're just sandblasting a plain old pipe. But are you really creating a massive cannon fueled by static electricity?
This is a really cool story. Lots and lots of static electricity.
Potentially lethal, yes. The story goes that there's a construction worker who's on a site and he finds a piece of 8-inch diameter PVC pipe. It's kind of messed up and he wants to reuse it on the job, so he drags it over into the paint area and begins to sandblast it with a large industrial sandblaster. What he doesn't realize is that builds a charge up on the pipe, and as he walks around the pipe to go get another tool, the pipe unloads all of its static electricity into him, killing him instantly, like a static cannon.
A static cannon. What a blast. To test this one, the MythBusters will need a length of PVC pipe, a sandblaster to build up a charge, a willing victim to get zapped, and a meter to measure the jolt.
It turns out that the ideal conditions for static electricity are very dry conditions. Because the moisture in the air inhibits the buildup of static. So I think we're actually really going to want to seal off that area, which we're already doing for the sandblasting. We're going to want to get that area as dry as possible.
Tori just couldn't be happier with that idea.
It's not like we're housing the boy in the bubble.
A whole workshop to wrap in plastic, on his own, just him and his stapler. He'll take a little while. So in the meantime, Jamie and Adam seek out a little expert opinion. Susie C. has been an electrical engineer for 15 years.
So Susie, tell me how electrostatic charges would build up on this PVC.
Well, Jamie, as you know, PVC is an excellent insulator. It doesn't like to give off electrons. So when you rub something along PVC with a lot of friction, electrons build up on the PVC surface, and the surface becomes negatively charged.
So PVC can collect a charge, but Susie's never heard of that charge causing problems.
PVC is not conductive, it's very resistive. It can store a charge of electrons, but can that charge be dissipated so that the current flows and somebody is hurt? I'm not sure that's possible.
If it is possible, the MythBusters want to be the ones to make it happen. Back in the workshop, Tori's plastic tent is done, and they're spreading painter's desiccant. It draws moisture out of the air. Now, the pipe. Nothing like a little PVC overkill to get the sparks flying.
Jimmy, I see a problem right away with this myth. I mean, they said he put it up on jack stands, but the problem is we're trying to build up a static charge on something that's grounded to metal.
Yeah, I agree. This wouldn't work at all this way.
What they need is a little insulation inspiration.
Best I can come up with is to put it on these glass blocks, so I'm going to make a brace to hold them like so. This is the size of the tube. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, lower it down.
So the air's dry and the cannon's insulated. Now, who wants to be blasted with a fatal charge? Come on, hands up.
I built this hand about 13 years ago. It was my first attempt at some type of animatronics. I just had some copper plate and some springs, and I put this together. So I think that this hand actually contributed to me getting my very first job with Jamie. I think he liked the animatronic aspect of it.
He just knew it would come in handy again someday. The perfect stand-in. Better a copper finger cops the blast than Adam's own.
I am being a little cautious with this rig. I don't know how much electricity it's going to generate. My thinking is it's not going to generate very much, but we've been surprised on MythBusters before, and I don't want to be at the business end of a bad mistake.
To load the cannon, they'll sandblast the pipe end to end. Jamie will measure the charge buildup on a voltmeter, and there's an ammeter in Adam's hand, connected to Christine's computer.
After we feel like we've leveled it out to the maximum charge, you'll touch it with this, and Christine can tell us what the amperage spike is, and if it's, we can take a look and see if it's enough to actually cause some real damage.
In cases of electrocution, the damage is done by the current flowing through you, measured in amps. You can feel 1/1000th of an amp, or 1 milliamp. Up to 5 will give you a little shock. Between there and 30 milliamps will be a severe jolt and affect muscle control. Getting beyond 50, it can affect breathing and heartbeat and can prove fatal. But can their static cannon produce a massive, fatal blast?
Okay, I'm gonna go.
By bombarding the pipe with sand, Adam is loading it up with millions of electrons. It could discharge when they touch it with the copper hand, or, as in the myth, completely at random.
Let's see where it is now. Went back down again. That's like 500 volts.
Something weird is happening. The static charge has actually dropped.
This is a big piece of plastic, so we should be able to create a big charge. Why we're not at this point, I'm not so sure.
And here's another problem. Adam's got gas, or at least the blaster does.
Turn it off?
Yeah, let's turn it off again.
So here's the unit. Maybe that we don't know how to use it. It may be that it's not working right. Not sure.
It seems for blasting, there's the right sand, and there's the kind the MythBusters bought.
Yeah, it's catching in the nozzle.
Okay.
We've got hundreds and hundreds of pounds of sand meant for a kid's playpen, not for a sandblaster.
Jamie doesn't really buy the whole gritty sand thing. While Adam is off searching for something finer, a little Heinemann handiwork gets the MythBusters back in the blasting game. Jamie's done something right. This time the cannon is charging up.
It got up to about 17,000 volts.
17,000 volts. Will that give off a fatal zap?
Okay, Christine, did we catch any amperage?
Nothing. I mean, it's just a blank screen. It doesn't even look like it's connected to anything. I didn't see a blip.
Well, what are you doing wrong?
Nothing, I swear.
I did
I've been
my
looking at it
part.
the whole time.
I got the volts. Where's your amps?
I can't help you.
There's no current, no spark, not even a blip on the screen. Unless Jamie and Adam can think of something fast, the only thing this static cannon will blow away will be the myth. Adam is gambling with his life.
You wimp.
He is an apprentice before the master.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This ain't old maid. It's the biggest deal of all when you're playing with the killer deck.
This is real.
Killer deck. This has got to be one of your favorites.
One of my all-time favorites, actually. The myth is that an ordinary playing card can be turned into an instrument of death and actually kill somebody with a powerful throw.
Sounds highly implausible to me.
Well, be that as it may, you can actually throw these things with a fair amount of force. I've been doing it since I was like 10 years old.
You're pretty good at that.
Adam's better than pretty good. He's a card-throwing ace and is proud to display the fruits of a misspent youth.
The first aspect is just imparting lateral speed to the card. The second is imparting spin to it. And it's a combination of both of those things that I think yields the most distance and stability.
So all it takes is speed, spin, and, say, 30 years practice.
I haven't had all day to sit around practicing with like you guys.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
As far as I'm aware, it's not possible to actually kill someone with a playing card by throwing it at them.
You can't kill anybody with a playing card. No way. I'm sure they're gonna try.
The high-speed camera shows Adam in all his mutant ninja glory. He's hitting that foam block target at an impressive 25 miles an hour. But when it comes to cards, few can trump Ricky J.
Well, some people have called me the leading hurler of martial projectiles in the world.
Ricky can throw a regular playing card nearly 200 feet.
So yeah, I can just throw one without too much, I've got a little curve, but that'll hit him anyway. I'll take credit for anything.
Yeah, that's nice and done.
Watch closely here. He's putting a card right through the same hole in the paper as the throw before.
Yeah, that's it.
And he can cure your smoking habit better than any hypnotist. When it comes to killer cards, Ricky wrote the book.
Well, Ricky, have you heard the myth about someone being killed with a throwing card?
Well, there's a book called Cards as Weapons, which is a study of self-defense with the ordinary playing card that deals with some stories of people who may have actually been killed with playing cards.
Now, isn't it true that you wrote this book?
It is true, yes. I did write that book.
So you may be the genesis of this tale.
I would be surprised if I wasn't.
Lethal cards. Is it true? Ricky's not saying. Jamie's always crisp shirt is as good as body armor. Of course, that doesn't mean the myth is dead.
We have some unsubstantiated accounts that world record-holding card throwers like Ricky Jay are throwing the card at almost 90 miles per hour. Our challenge in this myth is to build a machine that can throw a card as fast as possible.
Let's go for it.
So here's the deal. The MythBusters will build a high-powered card-throwing machine and compare it to other weapons. But son of a gun, you'll never guess. Adam and Jamie have completely different ideas on how to do it.
Hi, how you doing?
Adam's ambitious plan is a sort of bionic arm. Jamie's making a kind of mini baseball pitching machine.
Whenever an engineer builds something that's overcomplicated, that's the mark of an inferior designer. Simpler is always better.
This pulls all the way back, comes like this, spreads, and the card flies out.
It's complicated, but just maybe Adam's gizmo will work.
That's actually pretty clever.
What's going on? It's getting worse. Oh, looks like the fingers are getting tweaked a little bit. That was pretty cool.
Adam actually had a pretty clever idea. It doesn't work, but it was really clever.
I'm not very happy with it. As usual, I've tended to get a little over-elegant in my design.
Over-elegant is apparently engineering speak for it won't work. Adam has thrown in his hand, and it's down to Jamie. With less elegance, more grunt as his mantra, this promises to be the most diabolical little machine he's ever created.
Yeah, Adam.
Jamie's made what could be a card-throwing monster.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a little scared of this thing myself. Go ahead. I'm tickled with my design, actually. You know, it came together really quickly. It's really simple. And best of all, it just rockets those cards. I mean, they're just like gone. So it's cool.
Jamie's pitching machine is getting that card out there at around 70 miles an hour.
Look at that.
I mean, I can definitely say you're going a lot deeper than I can go. I mean, look, even from here, you know,
Yeah.
you're going like burying half the card. That's an intense amount of speed.
Yeah.
This is becoming quite a dangerous little card-throwing machine.
Wow!
But maybe for the wrong reasons.
Ow! What was that?
I don't know. I have a clue.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, ow, yeah.
Oh. What happened to it, do you think?
It's going 30,000 RPM.
The small rubber wheels can't handle the speed and are breaking apart. It's time to up the ante. Bigger wheels, and the MythBusters will be killer card high rollers.
I'm ready. Pull the plug.
That might be the fastest failure we've ever had.
Whoops.
I wouldn't have called that.
Rubber wheels aren't happening on this one. We have to do it out of metal. In fact, you know, I have some things that I can I'll bring you out right now to show you an example of what we can try.
I used these when I made the first Chef Boyardee commercial in 1948 for the Henny Youngman Radio Hour.
It is fair to say Jamie's not known for throwing anything away.
I'm not sure that this is the right one, but, you know, because it's a little too weak in there. We're going to have to make a metal drive wheel this time that hopefully won't fly apart. Even that, you know, we're playing around with some really high forces on this thing, and it just, it's scary.
Of course, danger is the MythBusters' constant friend and companion. And now they have a new toy, the mother of all card chuckers.
All right, let's try that. Let's go. Everybody eyes open, we're spinning up a big, fast thing. Go.
It even sounds dangerous.
I don't want to get near that thing.
I don't either.
They're serious. They really don't want to get near it. But they have to load the cards. Adam's got a solution.
This I got when I bought an esophagoscope. This is for going all the way down. I got all the way down to your stomach. Like that. I'm pulling it back out again. Yeah?
Yeah.
Want to try?
I hate this thing.
I know, it's terrifying. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. That was beautiful. Oh my God. That's one that I did. Here's ours. Embedded like half the card. Well, we got to see what kind of speed that is.
Yeah.
The high speed tracks that card at a blistering 150 miles an hour. But even at that speed, Jamie isn't convinced the card is lethal.
You know, creating a killer playing card isn't just about the speed, it also involves the mass.
They found out all about the importance of mass in the penny drop myth.
I'm scared.
Jamie built a gun to fire a penny at high speed.
Looks pretty good. Are we ready? Ready, Adam?
The light coin didn't have any penetrating power.
You hit me in the same exact place. It didn't hurt that much before, but now it really hurts.
Oh, you baby.
I mean, in looking at the mass of a penny here on the scale, the penny comes out at just a little over 3 grams, and a card comes out at just about 1.7 grams.
Yeah, well, nevertheless, I think we need to put this up against some things that we know can penetrate human flesh.
So out comes the MythBusters' old friend, ballistics gel.
I'm going to open up a brand new deck of cards, so I've got some nice sharp cards for this one. All right, here we go. Nope. Hey!
Adam's best effort can only penetrate 1/4 of an inch. But how will the killer deck cut it?
Okay.
Ready when you are. There we go. That's a hit.
Even at 150 miles an hour, the card only penetrates 1/2 inch. Now, what about a dangerous, but generally not deadly, pellet gun? The lead slug is traveling at around 350 miles an hour. and burrowed in 7 inches. And last, well, crossbows, anyone?
That's pretty devastating.
At 200 miles per hour, the heavy crossbow bolt has penetrated 20 inches. The MythBusters have cashed their last chip. The fastest card they can throw lacks the penetrating power of even a humble pellet gun.
Well, all that being said, Jamie, are you willing this time to put your body on the line and take a hit from the machine?
Yeah, sure, I don't mind. Well, I think it's only fair to give Adam a chance once in a while to inflict some damage on me.
So it's shirt off.
It's so nice that Jamie's finally doing this instead of me.
Eye protection on.
Look at what a fine specimen of manhood he is for 83. Here we go.
Jamie is putting his body where his myth-busting mouth is.
Really?
He's taken 2 for the team, and it seems the killer machine ain't quite so killer.
Does it really? I figured it might. Do you have any marks? Hey, we drew blood! Look at that! Excellent, we drew blood with a card.
Oh, there, that was the arm.
Look at that. I believe that might be your first significant injury on MythBusters, Jamie.
Could be.
So unless you can bleed to death from a nasty paper cut, it seems a killer hand will remain a figure of speech.
Well, you know, we fired everything we had in the shop at this piece of ballistics gel, and for the life of me, even from our Uber machine, I didn't really see anything I thought was lethal from that playing card.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
I'm willing to say that this myth is pretty busted.
I'd agree. It doesn't happen in mass.
A treat for 5-year-old Cameron D. Hall turned into a scary moment after just 1 lick.
And it just blew. That fast. Boom.
It's the case of the exploding Jawbreaker. How can a common candy become a ticking time bomb?
I can't imagine if a child got hit with candy like that was heated like that. It would be terrible.
Well, Adam, you know, a microwave is clearly the best option for this kind of thing to happen with, because we know that it did in fact occur with a kid getting his face burned.
Yeah, but Jamie, I really think we need to look at some other options that might have created some kind of explosion. And the first thing that comes to mind is a chemical reaction, where some part of the manufacturing process went awry and left a chemical that reacted with another chemical in the candy. And I think the prime candidate for this would be caustic soda or lye, which is often used in the cleaning of food processing equipment.
Yeah, lye is pretty reactive. It's powerful stuff.
So let's put that under some heat and see what we get.
Okay.
It's a highly unlikely scenario, but it is possible, and it may cause an explosion. How could a MythBuster resist that? 4 samples are prepared. 2 contain caustic soda and ground up Jawbreaker. And 2 contain caustic soda and ascorbic acid, a common food additive, also known as vitamin C. Water will be added to one set of samples, heat will be added to the other.
Nothing's happening at all.
But Adam wants a kaboom, and he wants it now.
Let's put him on high for 5 minutes. He did. He put it on high for 5 minutes.
I discovered it's really effective for cleaning out the microwave in just a couple of minutes.
Whoa! Wow! Okay, that would be, okay, stop. Wow, you've made like a burning cupcake.
Oh, that was fun.
That's spectacular.
The dry caustic soda and crushed Jawbreaker mix proves highly combustible.
Well, it produced a lot of hot ash.
The caustic soda, ascorbic acid, and water mix also proves to be a surprise.
Whoa, that's super hot.
Yes, it is.
I think we should take this last mixture of the caustic soda and the candy powder and put it at the same temperature the Jawbreaker was at in the oven under radiant heat.
Okay.
This will approximate a caustic soda contaminated candy being left out in the sun.
Whoa!
And the result is dramatic.
All right, well. Glove. That was spectacular. That's a handy way to get rid of a paper cup. Jeez. Look at that, man. That's crazy. Feel it. It's like rock hard. Feel it. Feel it. Are you convinced? I mean, that radiant heat was enough within just 5 minutes to make the caustic soda react with the powdered candy and create like an incredible expansion, explosion, flames, everything.
Yeah, I guess that's a possible scenario. You know, it is conceivable that they could use a caustic soda to clean out the equipment for candy making, and if some of it got with the sugar and it got heated up, obviously it creates a reaction.
Although it's far less likely to occur because manufacturers in the food industry are held to much higher standards than 5-year-olds with microwaves, I think this is still a very plausible scenario for exploding Jawbreaker.
So the MythBusters have created Jawbreaker explosions with microwaves and with chemicals. But what if neither of those were involved?
So a key element that keeps popping up in the stories about the exploding Jawbreakers is the plastic packaging. And on the off chance that the packaging itself will somehow focus heat and make the Jawbreaker more explosive, I think we should place it under a radiant heat source like a toaster oven and leave it there for a while, see if it actually has any significant effect on the Jawbreaker.
Putting the Jawbreaker in the toaster oven is like leaving it in the sunshine for a couple of hours. Something any kid could accidentally do.
Anything happening yet?
Not yet.
But leaving a candy in the sun couldn't really have any effect. Or could it?
Oh, look, it's like the bag's almost like pillow-like. All right, well, let's put them in the jaws.
Okay. In the bag, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Is
Yeah.
everybody clear?
Nope, that's as hard as a human can bite, and I'm getting squat.
Okay.
When he removes the Jawbreaker from its plastic wrapper, Jamie is in for a surprise.
Well, actually, it is still hard on the outside, and it's molten in the middle. That's interesting. I never would have thought it would do that. I thought the only way we could get that was with the microwave.
Well, under radiant heat, it got molten in the middle and stayed crispy outside. I think we've come up with 3 possible scenarios for candy destruction.
There you go.
This is confirmed, confirmed, confirmed.
Maybe, but what about that other scenario? You know, the one about the evil, genius 5-year-old with a bag of gunpowder.
It's kind of cute.
Cute, but deadly. The Jawbreaker from hell.
How likely is this scenario depends on whether or not you live in the real world or Wile E. Coyote's world. Because I can imagine a child licking on a ball with a fuse that's going on it.
This scenario doesn't really have anything to do with this, with what we understand happened in the stories. We're just doing it for fun.
Let the fun begin.
3, 2, 1.
Just chat amongst yourselves a moment.
Nothing's happening. Can we get a fresh battery?
Take 2.
Okay, we're ready?
Give a countdown, please.
And 3, 2, 1. That was a nice boom.
It's like a magic trick. It's like, watch me make half the ball disappear. Well, that is an exploding Jawbreaker. I think we have examined every last way you could get candy to explode.
And a few ways that they can't.
That's it then. I mean, all our scenarios paid out and were possible. Myth totally confirmed.
Confirmed, and as Christine found out, dangerous. Don't try any of these experiments at home. Like Christine, you could end up burned. The static cannon myth seems to have short-circuited. The MythBusters can't generate a fatal shock out of their PVC pipe, no matter how much sand they blast it with. They need to find a way to create a much bigger static charge. And Jamie and Adam have very different ideas about how to do it.
You know, I didn't get any satisfaction out of the last thing with the static cannon. Now we're going to have some real fun. We're going to make a Van de Graaff generator and see whether we can make some big static electricity out of it.
A Van de Graaff generator uses a spinning belt to carry a charge picked up from a brush at the bottom of a long tube to another brush at the top, where the charge is distributed onto a metal sphere. It's a simple machine, but can generate in excess of 100,000 volts.
So on top of this is going to go an aluminum sphere, and basically all we have to do is put a belt in the middle of this, and that'll probably be the hardest part. This belt we have to custom make.
So the build team will try to create a Van der Graaf generator and a bigger kick than the static cannon. Scotty starts on the rollers for the belt.
Oh, Happy New Year.
The belt itself is Carrie's job.
I'm trying to precisely cut this vinyl so that Jamie doesn't get mad at me.
See whether they're actual images.
Incredibly, Jamie didn't have a huge metal globe lying around the workshop. They've had to order one in. The belt will be driven by a small electric motor.
This is brass screen, which we're going to make into the electron sprayers. Those little fingers reach out and grab the electrons.
They have all the components they need for the generator.
And there you have it.
Adam hasn't given up on that static cannon. He's got a hunch it just needs a helping hand to produce that fatal jolt.
Well, we're back to our old MythBuster tricks with our friendly early capacitor, the Leyden jar. This is a device for storing a charge. It actually acts like a capacitor. And it does that with a layer of foil on the outside and a layer of foil on the inside, and the charge is stored between them.
Those two foil sheets are enough to store quite an impressive little charge.
Okay, the meter's actually reading about 5,000 volts.
5,000 volts. Not bad. But will a bigger Leyden jar store a bigger charge?
That's 6,000. I'm building it up. That's 7,500. 9,500.
So bigger is better when it comes to storing static. And out in the workshop, there's a very big pipe indeed.
Hello! Sandblasting our big PVC pipe didn't actually yield a very large charge, and it's mainly because we've been finding out through our research that PVC is actually quite poor at storing a high voltage charge. Part of the myth says that he was cleaning paint off the pipe, and I know that metallic paint is actually somewhat conductive. So I'm going to paint the end of this pipe and the inside and outside with a chrome spray paint to see if I can create, in fact, a modified Leyden jar, something that can actually store a charge and perhaps discharge it all at once out at the end.
So the cannon is becoming a Leyden jar, one end sprayed inside and out with a metallic paint.
The tape is a key part of the Leyden jar's construction in that the outer and the inner surfaces, the metallic surfaces, can't actually be in contact with each other. Only when they're close but not in contact are they able to store a small charge between them.
This could prove a stroke of genius, or maybe it's just desperation. When the paint dries, Adam's pipe will certainly look more like a cannon. But that will mean nothing if it doesn't pack a killer punch. Back in the land of Van der Graaf, the generator is coming together. Things are going well. Here's a sentence you don't hear too often on a MythBusters build.
Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it'd be. It's actually kind of scary. I'm a little concerned as to whether we could actually hurt somebody with this, because the only people that I know that have played around with these things have played around with little ones that you can put on a desktop. This is not a little one. Yeah, I have no idea what this is going to do. Let's find out. Go ahead and plug it in. Be ready to unplug it real quick.
Okay. Gotcha. That hurt.
If it's working, there should be a static field around the dome.
You're the one with the hair.
Go do it.
All right. Will this make my hair stand up?
Oh. No! That was that long! Oh my God!
I've had enough for one day. I want to go home.
And now, for your entertainment, the oldest trick in the book.
Adam, check it out. It's not working. I don't know what's wrong with it.
That's our Van der Graaf generator?
No.
Why not work? Why not work?
We haven't figured it out yet.
It's not that spectacular.
Little.
It's like a carpet spark.
Yeah.
So you've made a 7-foot-tall carpet.
By adjusting the position of the brushes, they should be able to increase the charge being generated.
Wait, don't plug it until I'm holding on to it.
Standing on a wooden box, Carrie is insulated from the ground. The charge is building up on her body, repeating that hair-raising old-school science lab trick.
Feel it.
And your hair is standing up a little better.
Up. Yeah, here it goes.
We're at 50,000 volts.
Unexpectedly, it turns out that's a charge big enough to suck all the power out of Jamie's legs.
Whoa. Jamie, you want to run in and get a shot?
Do it, do it.
Come on, baby.
Touch it.
Show those big cars.
Adam will give you mouth to mouth if you pass out.
No, Scotty will.
Well, the machine's working. We can tell it's working. It's making all this horrible popping noise.
What are you doing? Are you snake charming over there?
You're just gonna make it mad.
You've been doing some sort of Grateful Dead dancing by it for some reason. Come on, let's do it.
I'm feeling it. My arm hairs are standing up out here.
Ow. Did you get that one?
Now it's time for Adam to step up.
Oh, wow. God, I feel the power. I feel the power. Oh! Ah! Stop sparking my... Ow!
This is doing nothing for the myth's credibility. Even with that big charge, the current is so small and the pulse so short that no one is getting hurt.
It's the full God-giving knowledge to Adam. Oh! Well, Jamie, according to our instruments, I've got a couple of 100,000 volts heading through my body. And even with this amount, it still, it hurts, but it's not killing us, and it doesn't sound like a thunderclap.
That's true. Can I go away now?
You can go away now.
No one's going anywhere until they finally lay this myth, or Adam, to rest. Has he created a deadly weapon with his static cannon come Leyden jar? Despite the metallic paint, the charge just isn't building up.
This is really sluggish. It doesn't really seem to want to go above 4,000 volts.
All right, Jamie.
And the discharge isn't hair-raising either.
20 milliamps.
Yeah, there's no drop.
The voltage dropped from 4,000 to 0, and we had a 20 milliamp jump. That's totally not nearly enough to hurt anybody.
It seems PVC pipe just isn't very good at storing a big charge. And there's another problem. Like humidity, dust in the air can help dissipate a static charge. So the sandblasting in the myth could well have doomed it from the start.
Well, Jamie, Christine was recording the entire time, and although the paint actually acted like a Leyden jar, and it did store a small charge, that charge never got above 6,000 volts. And then when you did a discharge, and the amperage dump was like 20 milliamps. I mean, it's not nearly enough to cause you any real damage through your skin. I think this myth is totally busted.
Yeah.
Okay.